Hello, folks. Here we are with another Saturday Night Live Zoom, April 20th, 2019, I believe. If I get lost in my dates. But, we come together every week here to inspire and support each other on this wacko, crazy, outrageous, exaggerated lifestyle, which most people out there would look at us in that kind of sense. But once you've played around with this for a while, you have a whole new understanding of what's really going on out there. And, the magic number from my understanding of information that I've accumulated and accessed, we need to get into that 144,000 of wonderful souls who have the similar intent and focus to bring a shift of enlightenment to the masses of this planet. 144,000. It's D-note, and D-note in 432 tuning is which is the divine nine, number of creation. It is the frequency that resonates with hydrogen. And as we know, hydrogen, water, what does it do? It holds memory. And
interesting.
The research that we did many years ago, basically, from my memory, like one drop of water can hold. It was something ridiculous. I don't remember the numbers, so don't count me for the numbers. But it was something like 300,000 years of videos. One drop of water can hold the memory of 300,000 movies. That much information. So basically, we're talking about infinite. That's what they can, the research revealed, but, it's infinite. I don't think there's a limit. And there was also research of computers that would use water for memory and so on and so forth, because we're accessing the higher order of things through the wonders of hydration, which so many of us are still confused about, looking to drink ourselves to hydration. And after decades of research and studying water and so on and so forth, it was pretty interesting revelation to find we don't need any water at all to drink, because the true hydration does not come from drinking. It comes from within, when we access source, connection to God, creator, divine, divinity of all things. And, we don't have to fully understand how everything works, but the beauty is when we start going on these long fasts, you'd be amazed at the information that starts coming through to you when you access, source, God, through your soul. Because that's what's happening through fasting lifestyle. The physical stuff is really the simple things that anybody can really do. It's going into the realms where we face that mirror of truth, which is all knowledge of one creation, God himself, herself, what do I call it? That wonderful plasma love, always flowing energy. Once we access that, there's nothing we can do to hide from the truth of things. And this is the challenge we see. People, a lot of people are really just not ready to face that mirror of truth. And when it starts being revealed, things become shocking, and they start backing away and start going back to their old ways. So this is the beauty of fasting. It's a whole wonderful spiritual process that we attain. And the more we fast, the more we can have access to that, and the more we gain the understanding. And this is first and foremost of a fasting lifestyle. The benefits of what happens through physical from fasting is obvious, and we've seen those miracles happen over and over and over because of what we have through the understanding that it's all happening through our soul from source. That's the only way everything happens in creation. It cannot happen any other way. There's that infinite intelligence that's behind creation that is why we see everything around us and beyond through all the stars and planets and galaxies, etc. It's that wonderful, infinite, beautiful source of creation that we all have access to. Who do we have here today? We have Inga, Lisa, Joy, Steve, and somebody on a phone. Is that you, Ranjit? Or maybe somebody else joined us? Ranjit was mentioned she may be able to join us on the phone or something. But how's everybody doing?
Good, good.
Any new revelations, Steve?
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I ended up fasting, like dry fasting, like 4 days, but not in a row. And one of my character flaws is anger. It always has been.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a slight little incident with my boss. And nothing major, but, you know, the explosive anger came back. That has pretty much been in check. And
Okay.
yeah.
See how
So we're just two men. That's fine. We blew up at each other. We walked away. It was over. It's not a big deal. But I called him this morning to apologize for letting it get to the point it got to. And it was interesting because he said I attribute it to the crazy diet you're doing. I said, funny you should say that. I said, because you're absolutely right. I said, because the fast will expose all weakness. And then I said, the only way for a person to work on any character flaw or whatever you want to call it is to be tested by it. And I said, hopefully next time I do a little better. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
So you shared that you were fasting to your boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks I'm nuts.
Yeah. You know, this is
all right. They all think I'm nuts.
I continuously, you know, by family members over and over and over for the last 3 decades. It does not stop.
No.
It does not stop.
Oh, I don't expect it to. I don't. That doesn't bother me at all anymore.
These are people that are just not going to change and do this kind of lifestyle. They're not going to happen.
No, and I try in other areas too, especially with my boss, because he's fairly open-minded. But when I show him some things, it's just like he doesn't see them. It's just amazing how people want to see what they want to see, and they want to hear what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. That's it. But I was kind of taken by surprise with the anger, because that's been I've had a pretty good run of not having that come up. So, but that's okay.
Yeah, embrace it all.
Yeah.
Look at the what happened through the memory and see what's really going on there.
Yeah,
And
well, that's the problem. I don't. I for a year, I can't pin down the source. I have not, or I shouldn't say, I have not been able to pin down the source yet of where it stems from. I'm sure it goes back to the youth.
yeah, but it could also be through our lineage as well. We store
Yeah,
all those as well.
I was reading some of that this week about that. That's interesting. That's an interesting concept. I believe that. Yeah.
So we can't be separate. That's where we come from, right? We come from our parents,
Yes.
grandparents, great grandparents, et cetera, et cetera. So to think that we are completely separate is pretty naive. To think that we all are part of that, and so we have to learn to love it, embrace it, because this is who we are. And once you start fasting, you start seeing how the things come to surface, and everybody will call all the kinds of diagnosis and whatever that you have because blah 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 blah. You know, it's it's funny. Like when we see people start resolving some physical things and so on and so forth, and then they keep stripping away, and more stuff comes up, and more stuff comes up, and more stuff comes up, and the physical body continues to correct itself, and then more stuff comes up, and we all have some kind of issue and challenge because of these emotional challenge that brings about through this process. And these emotional challenges are where, we keep talking about this all the time, is where we must come to realize is the source of the seed of all things that are the imbalances in this realm. It's all emotional. It's
Yeah.
all emotional. The physical stuff, yeah, okay, but the seed is all emotion. Just reading people's posts over and over and over. What do you see? It's all emotion. It's all emotion. Everything. It's all emotion. They start stirring things up, and it all starts coming to the surface.
Oh yeah.
But if when you look at people that have been diligent and continue month after month and year after year, you start seeing a miraculous transformation in their whole being start to unfold. And it's just a beautiful thing, an enlightenment of what happens when we live, love, and embrace every moment, every part of the journey. Yeah, these things are going to happen. I know other people that have had these anger bursts and something out of nowhere, just these anger bursts starts coming out. And there's no real understanding of why. We're just stirring some of the deep-seated emotions. And we can look back after and just laugh about it, like you said, apologize and so on and so forth. But once we continue, we'll see these things come less and less, and then we'll go down the road and we'll stir something even deeper. Something else will come up, and we'll deal with that, and so on and so forth. The other way, we've talked about is write them down, the things that are happening, then burn them, send them back to where they came from to be balanced out, and you can do that over and over and over. But
Gino,
yeah,
can I mention something?
of course.
Steve, I'm not sure can you hear me properly because I'm on holidays and internet is not the best. What I have witnessed over the last few years, when we holding on to especially anger, there is some deep seated within when you were little. Something has happened to you when you were small and being
traumas and so on.
It could be forgotten, yes. And it's time for you to go within and look where is that little boy being hurted. And then these triggers come up to surface to let you go, but you may be not willing to look in and
Hello, you just froze for a sec.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now the last few words were frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the internet is in Slovenia not so good.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no, if you like, the last words was, it's maybe now you're getting ready to go within
Yes.
and talk to your little boy and allow that anger to come up and will dissolve.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
I
have
feel
witnessed
I'm getting
a
ready.
lot.
I would add
Yeah.
too that going out into nature and having these conversations with yourself is a very important thing. And it doesn't have to be far. It could just be out, you know, on a balcony somewhere. And just talking out whatever you're feeling, even or memories, even and emotions from memories, happy, sad, people, no people. And there was somebody very close to me, my father, who was a very angry person, and I feel like I've embodied him now. And you think about the ways that you want to be like your parents. I want to be certain ways like him, but this was not the one that I would have chosen. But it's up to me now. It's up to me to change this. And some of it I feel is very physical, and then some of it I feel is very learned and emotion and stress that I've taken on from him.
Yeah.
Do you have somebody, Steve, that you think of automatically when you think of the anger and where it may come? No, you don't.
You know, there's no control on it when it comes. It's just it's explosive.
I can relate, so you're not alone on that.
Oh no, I know that.
Yeah.
You were on a dry fast, Steve, when it happened, or was it before?
Yeah, actually, I was. Yes.
You were on a dry fast. Yes.
Yes. Yesterday. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Well, if you're not on a drive, first thing is enema, of course.
Yeah.
And
you know, I thought of that today, but I didn't think of it then.
Yeah.
I thought of it after the fact. I gotta get that. I gotta get that to sink in.
Other things that can really help very quickly is essential oils. You know.
Well, this happened at work, so there wasn't much I could do about it.
Yeah, no, you can always. I always have a little. I have a pouch thing, and I always keep at least one essential oil in there.
Oh, okay.
Always, just whatever. Get something you're attracted to. I find rose very potent and powerful and very balancing. It's it's a very expensive if you get a pure rose oil, but you know, if you sniff them, they'll last you forever if you don't use them.
Yeah.
Use for sniffing.
We're definitely out of balance. I was definitely out of balance. I mean,
yeah. So you know, this is the thing. As you know, my whole thing is what's fasting. The only true fast is a dry fast.
Yeah.
It's the only true fast when you have nothing. That's true when you really get in and connect. And everything else is what we're going to call
maintenance.
Sorry?
Maintenance.
Yeah, it's like a simulated type of fast. So we're going back and forth to do that squeeze and wash, do the squeeze and wash, do the squeeze and wash. This is how we very, very effective movement and cleansing of the body and open up energies. I found in all these years. So when you're fasting, things can and will change very quickly. And it can go from feeling crappy to feeling amazing to feeling crappy. And it can happen in a very short period of time, and sometimes within, in a day or within hours or with even minutes. You can go back and forth. Like it's just, whoa, these waves. And this is why, we help with enemas, except on a dry fast. In a dry fast, we don't use the enemas, but we can use the other tools. We can use acupressure points. We can use the breathing methods. We can use essential oils. We can even use some herbs, small amounts of herbs, tinctures, and take a shot of that. We can do many, many things. But the best thing, if you're close to nature, go out in nature, hug a tree or whatever, man, just ground yourself or something. Yeah, no, get this, just come to your senses, walk out and go into nature.
Oh, yeah.
Just calm down and do your breath work. So there's a lot of things we can do. But you're going to see, Steve, you may get more of these coming up, but then you're going to see a shift happen eventually that it'll be less and less and less. Now, the reason they're coming up now is because you're fasting.
Right.
And you haven't dealt with them and settled them out and balanced them out.
Correct.
With this was something that you had in your drinking days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna, just don't worry about these things. Be happy and jump for joy that they're coming to the surface.
Yeah.
You can find balance with them. Anything that comes up through fasting, we jump for joy. No matter how awful it may seem, we have to come to this new understanding. It's all part of the journey that we're going to bring balance to it, because this is your time where you connect with Source, and the Source is bringing to you and allowing these imbalances to come to the surface so you can bring balance to them. That's what's happening. Forget about the physical stuff. The physical is nothing. It's all happening on that spiritual connection with our Creator. If you don't believe in Creator, it's whatever. But this is the understanding. Higher intelligence. If you don't think there's a higher intelligence to all this creation, you can't help you, man. It's like it's just like, we've talked about this before. Like it's an impossibility that everything happened by accident and through explosions or whatever. Okay, sure. There's so much intelligence behind every single aspect of creation in nature and beyond. There's so much intelligence that there has.
Oh, I believe that. I love science. I love science. I always have. But to say there's no creator, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I see it everywhere. I see it in the rooms of AA, because I see the miracle of sobriety.
Yeah, just look at the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. I've been just paying more and more attention to the beauty and the intricacies and the intricacies. It's just, wow, look at this beauty. Every little aspect of creation is just jaw-dropping when you start paying attention to the most simplest things. Study an ant for a while. Let's take a couple of weeks and just study an ant. One ant. And just keep looking at it. Every day you'll see something different, and it'll amaze you, or a flower or whatever.
Yeah, I got my I keep honeybees. I lost my colony over the winter, so the new one came in yesterday morning. They are an amazing. Huh?
At home?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Small hive. Yeah, they are amazing creatures. They're fascinating to watch.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Beekeepers in general, if we just look at beekeepers from all other types of whatever people do as a living or hobbies, they have very long lifespan.
Yeah. Not so much anymore.
No?
The bees? No.
No, the people taking care of bees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They have long lifespans.
Yeah.
Beekeepers.
Yeah, the guy that got me going on it's 82 years old.
See what I mean?
God bless him. But we lost all 7 hives last year. Between us, we have 7 hives. We lost them all. There's so much crap out there. Very difficult to keep them going.
My goodness.
So that's hard for me today. There's such I grieve for the planet. And it's hard to disconnect from that.
And now they're trying to implement all that 5G network and everything, man.
Oh, that's crazy. Denmark just outlawed it.
Wow.
I don't know where we're going, but
Well,
I know the more I can stay within, obviously the better we are, the better I am. But I don't know.
we persevere and focus on all the beauty and continue.
Yes.
With the hives, I'm not sure if I know some people were doing a little bit of an ocean water, but you can also try with the plasma water and stuff. Um, uh, they're having amazing successes in plants and with animals and stuff. They are resolving the big swine flu outbreak in China with plasma water.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
So simple things, simple things. We have to find solutions in simple ways because complicated things is man's way. Nature does not work in complicated ways. Um, it's amazing what we as humanity have done to this planet. Like keep looking at
Criminal. It's criminal.
all the photos of all the waste in the rivers and streams and the oceans. And my goodness gracious. When are we going to come to the point and realize it's time to stop? It's time to stop this insanity.
Might be too late.
That's
It may be too late.
There's two ways.
We may be beyond that point.
There's a fascinating documentary called The Wolves of Chernobyl. And
I've heard of that.
The walls?
it is wolves.
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 It really is it's a special documentary. And I would recommend watching it because it I think it embodies something that could very well happen and does happen even today, where nature has this incredible power of overcoming and persevering even where we have crossed it so badly. And even when I was away, we were in an older city here, and there was this old stone retaining wall, and through the wall these ferns were poking out, just so intent. We are coming through no matter what they were saying, and it was just so special.
We just got to get out of the way.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember somebody was mentioning to me years ago about they used worms to decontaminate radioactive soil. Worms. So yeah, nature has
this path definitely just every year, every week, every month, I notice more and more special things around us. Lizards and butterflies and ants and new bugs and grubs, and it's really incredible. And then at the same time, you do have the dichotomy of seeing what's happening to everything too. So it's kind of hard. You're taking in the joy, and then at the same time, you feel the pain.
Mm-hmm. That's what it is, too, pain.
And I think that's a challenge. I'm trying to work on that too, how to move through. I've actually started, because I see this in people too. Like I said, we were traveling and we stopped and we were around all these restaurants, and typically I'm not so close to them, not using them for rest stops. But yet when you're up close to these places, these restaurants, you're watching people hobble in. They're not even walking in a normal human motion. It's literally from side to side, and there's canes, there's wheelchairs, and they hardly can fit through the door. And it's young, old, young, super young, even, and it's madness. And but I've tried to not have. I've actually been talking to them through my mind, saying, I am you. I am you. I know who you are.
Yes.
And
that's the scary part, isn't it?
Yeah. And then maybe in some ways they are me, and they can come, maybe there's some energy there that we can help embody for them too. But I really see myself in them now.
Mm.
And I think that's important, because before I think I
Judge.
tried, yeah. And inaccurately described myself in that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, we're responsible for everything that's happening out there. We're all part of the problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, in one of our last talks, we talked about that responsibility, or Gina, you talked about it, saying that we, no matter why we did it, we had the surgeries, we took the drugs, we did all this stuff, and we could be angry about it. But when you said just taking responsibility for it, it really changed something in my head, because I did still have a lot of memory of regret and memories of doing things and just wishing I had gone the other way. But when I say to myself, no, take responsibility, it really just changes. It changes how I'm looking at that.
No matter what.
And in fact, it just sort of ends that experience, and then I move on.
Yeah.
That's part of what got you to where you are today.
Yeah.
Right.
Forgive those people, because they don't know any better.
No.
It's through ignorance or through whatever, or greed. They know not what they're doing. So, we got to forgive them. And we made that choice to take, to put the trust in these other people, right? These ER places, they have a purpose. Can you imagine you're split open, you got blood pouring out of you? What are you going to do? You can't just fast and it's going to stop. You need some assistance, so there's a purpose for them. But the way it's all happened out there, it's all based on profit, bottom line. That's where all the corruption came in. And this is the problem and the challenge now.
For centuries.
It's gone ludicrous.
Forever.
You're in the hospital for a week and the bill you get is insanity. How many people lose their homes from being in the hospital for a few weeks or whatever?
Actually, also, if you go in and you're in a coma, they can perform biogenics, I think is what it's called, and they can vaccinate you against. Yeah.
I've seen that. The guy got.
Oh, they're going crazy down here with them.
Yes.
New York, they're losing their minds.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, it got thrown out in a court case.
Huh?
I seen something on a court. They brought it to court, and the judge.
Yeah, they lost.
You can't force people.
The state won.
The state won.
The state won. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, three states just fell into more mandatory vaccinations: Washington, Colorado, and New York.
Yep. And New York, I think, was where the court case was.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know.
It's a bad sign of where we're going, but people need to rise up, and we try to wake up those who want to be awoken, and if they don't, we move on.
Well, probably half the population's on some kind of form of
Yes.
drug, and when you're on medication, it's very easy to influence, to be influenced. So
Absolutely.
Masters at making the masses do what they want. They're masters. They've been doing it for a long time, thousands of years.
Oh yeah.
So we can be part of the problem or part of the solution. Simple.
Yeah.
Faster way to realization and enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it, because you will see things in a whole different light when you start fasting. You will see through all the crap. You'll see through it. There's no hiding.
No.
There's no hiding in the eyes of creation. We're in that naked state, you can want to call it. There's nothing that you can hide from.
Old cat.
So how's the eating going along, Steve?
Huh?
How's the eating going along?
Could be better. Today it rained. Oh, all day it rained. We probably got 2 or 3 inches of rain here today.
Same here. Same here. We got similar weather.
I got stuck in my head. And the cravings just kept coming and coming and coming.
Yeah, I'm on day 4 dry.
God bless you.
And it's, you know, when you're in these states, you know, you go, what do I eat for? Just a few seconds of pleasure. But you know,
at least I got some grapes, so that was better.
huh?
I ate some grapes, so that was a little better.
Yeah. You know, yeah,
There's no balance between the two, between the eating days and the fasting days. So when I start eating, it just starts escalating. I gotta somehow find that balance.
yeah, it's gonna take some time. You just started.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong quest of mastering that. It's not something we're going to wake up one day and it's all said and done. There's always going to be some challenges with it, and it's because of, you know, the societies we live in, around food. So once we come to terms and gain that understanding, we don't fight it anymore. Okay, you know, I fell down, no big deal. I'm ready for my next one. No big deal. No big deal. Like I said, the biggest challenges and situations that we have to be very prudent and very careful is breaking long fasts for, you know, for at least 1 to 2 times the length of the fast minimum. Those are the crucial times you need to be careful, and that's where people get themselves in trouble real fast because they're putting the body in that shock from one extreme to the other. Not that fasting is an extreme, but it's an extreme when you shock it through eating very obstructive foods. Yes, then you're going to find out the hard way if you make it through. But who else we have here? Josephine, David, hello. Nice to see everybody here. No videos, no. Some interaction would be nice from you guys. Hello from Josephine. This is a support group, and how do we support each other? Through sharing and interacting and inspiring each other. Like I mentioned last week, I didn't do my dry, and boy, oh boy, my body goes, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And you get into that fasting realm again, and oh, thank you. It's just an awesome, blessing feeling when you get into these fasted states, and the body is thanking you many times over because it feels so good and so refreshing to be in that wonderful state, the realm of fasting. How long I'm listening? I'm not yet to do the MFS fast, so here for inspiration. Awesome. I need a kick up the butt. Yeah, we're here to kick you in the butt, Josephina. We're here to kick you in the butt if that's what you need. We get caught up in that misery, pain, and suffering, and it's like there's no way out. We're in that state of there's just no way out, and sometimes that kick in the butt, you know, is enough to make us make the shift and make the change, because nobody can do it for us. But it's a big challenge out there when people are continuously bashing you and challenging you about your fasting lifestyle. Why do you gotta always fast? Oh, and this and that. And it's not normal. It's not natural. You gotta die sometime. Enjoy your life. But, well, it goes on and on and on. Doesn't stop. I've been at this 3 decades, guys. Does not stop. So you either go within, connect to source where you gain all your strength from and persevere, or you listen to them and allow the persuasion of the what do they call that? What's the word?
Drawing.
Being influenced by your, social people that you hang around with, and so on and so forth. And you can allow that to happen. It's your choice. It's always your choice. We find that the path of least resistance is not always the most pleasant, and that's where people choose. They choose to stay in that miserable state of pain and suffering, just to be, in the place where all their friends and family and so on, coworkers are, because they have something in common to talk about. When you're looked at as the outcast because you're in a blissful state, a very skinny skeleton blissful state, and everybody else is looking at you and they're pigging out and so on and so forth, and they think you're crazy, right? They literally think you're crazy because the peer pressure, that's the word, Josephine. Yeah, peer pressure. They look at you like you're from some kind of different planet. Joy, listening to it, start, stop, feel like an addict at times. It's amazing how clear it is now. We are addicts. We're food addicts. What do you mean? We don't feel like it. We are addicts. Why can't we let go of certain foods? Especially some of these foods, they're very, very addictive to cook, some of the cooked foods. And the ones with chemicals, we don't even want to go there. Those are designed to keep you addicted, just like cigarettes were. And so many other things that, other drugs and pharmaceutical things that you take a dose of these things and you're hooked. So no big deal. We come to the terms that it is what it is. And how do we work around it? How do we focus on the solutions only? Because if we focus on the negative stuff, that's where we're going to remain. We're going to remain where we focus, where we put our concentration on. If you've ever taken any type of safety driver training courses for anti-skidding and so on and so forth, or race car driving or whatever, you understand and know very clearly you must look where you want to go. If you get into a skid in your car, if you look into the trees, that's where you're going to end up. You got to look where you want to go. So you're going to steer where your eyes go. So that's where you go. So wherever your car's skidding, you're skidding into the direction where you want to go. It's the same thing with a fasting lifestyle. Where do you want to go? You want to be in the pain, misery, and suffering? Okay. Focus on the pain, misery, and suffering, and that's where you're going to stay. You want to go create, healing, miracles, balance yourself out, and focus on being in peace and all that. That's where you're going to go. It's so simple, but we make it complicated. It's not easy. It's simple. The roadmap is simple, but we make it complicated because we choose to listen to the peer pressure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That keeps us in the place where we don't want to be. We really don't want to be because we're suffering, but for some reason, it's much easier to stay in that state than it is to take a step outside of that rut and go over the rough terrain. Right? That's really what's happening. to go through that rough terrain. It's going to be a little more energy that you need to exert, and that's tough. You know, you can have some aches and pains to exert that extra energy you're not used to exerting. But what happens when you do it? You get stronger. Little by little, you get stronger. And it's the same thing with fasting. You know, I'm more determined about fasting now than I was 3 decades ago. But back then, when I started, I knew this is something you have to make as a lifestyle. It's not an event where everything's going to be solved. I've not seen that happen. It's something we continuously work on and thrive to learn to master and overcome all the obstacles and challenges that come our way. One by one, we will overcome them. And we get a little stronger and a little stronger and a little stronger. David, feeling good on the middle of my 3-day dry. Loving it. Awesome. So you also went through the full moon. The full moon dry fast, you will see a little more challenges when these full moons come. If you know any police officers or people who work in hospitals or stuff, they will all tell you the stories of the full moon days. Weird things happen on those days. People, you know, as they say, you know, they go cuckoo on the full moon, right? It does influence you. And when you're out of balance, you're going to feel it much more so on the full moons. Always. Parasites are more active in full moons and so on and so forth. You know, but these are all part of our design. You cannot eradicate all parasites. This is my understanding. I see so many things out there, different protocols. You got to kill all your parasites. Okay, good luck. It's like saying you're going to kill all the mosquitoes on the planet. Good luck. It's not going to happen. Creation continually creates, and they wouldn't be there if there wasn't a purpose for them. The challenge is that they think you're a corpse and they start taking over. And when you get into that state, then you got to be careful. You got to do certain things to get over that challenge so you can find some balance. So they literally think you're a corpse, and they're there to clean up the mess and put you back to where you came from, back to the earth. So we have to come to that understanding and work with it. We don't kill off everything because it's not going to work anyway. It's not going to work.
I had a colonic on Wednesday, and she said she saw a tadpole go by. Looked just like a tadpole. I'm like, really? And she goes, there goes another one. Like,
Interesting.
okay. So there's things coming out.
Oh yeah.
That had to be. I started in January with the colonics. I don't know. This is like my 13th one, and this was my biggest release.
Wow.
Massive release.
It's mind-boggling.
I can't believe there's that much in there. Especially in the beginning, yeah, but not this far in. It's like, wow.
Yeah. There's no, forget about trying to comprehend it. Who cares? Just keep.
No, I know. I enjoy seeing it go. That's all.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
I always I see it and I feel better immediately.
Yeah, we see the beauty. You start changing the terrain slowly but surely. Everything that's can't live in that environment because you're changing it starts coming out, and let it happen on its own. It's trying to kill everything, man. I haven't seen big successes with people trying to kill all these parasites. I haven't seen it. I've been at this 3 decades. I haven't seen all the people that have gone down that route. I haven't seen any miracles happen. They maybe got over a little hump because they've switched the situation where they're not taking over, and that's about it. I haven't seen miracles happen with the kill all mentality. Rana, what do you got to say?
Nothing much. All is well. Yeah, all is well. I've been eating dates for the past 3 days.
keeping it mono fruit. And we'll see. Would like to start. I feel it helps when I keep it one type of fruit. Fasting is definitely easier than eating even one type of fruit. So yeah, we'll see tomorrow. It also feels better to fast, even if I'm eating one type of fruit. Yeah, nothing much. Doing colonics every day at work, and here I do kolima every day. At least one kolima. When I start a fast, I like to start with more than one kolima. Any questions?
Rana, do you still have cravings?
What is it?
Cravings. Do you still have
Cravings.
Yeah, I feel like something savory the past few days when I come back from work. It's usually in the evening.
Yeah.
After work, especially because I get to sit down for like an hour or two. I feel like I want to eat, you know, like I want a heavier meal.
Yeah.
But
Hello?
the fact that Gino, yes, hi, Ranjit, who's this?
Oh, you can hear me.
Yes.
Hi, Ranjit.
I've been trying to speak so much.
Oh, it was you, okay. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, finally, we can hear you.
Just let me know when I can speak. I've got heaps to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I talk or no?
Please go ahead.
I love savory. I love savory too, Rana. But I wanted to help Steve out on something when he was talking about how the anger emotion came up for him, and other people had these other emotions. But through my dry fast, I had a real big emotion that came up, which was rejection. So something happened over the weekend and had a massive, big, deep rejection thing come up, which is okay because I thanked it when it came up. And the other thing I realised when you have these emotions that come up is the fact that we've been fasting and we're kind of tapped in is that we're aware of them. And previously when you're numbed out, we're not aware of them. And the fact that we're aware of them is just such a blessing. Oh, yeah. So when the rejection emotion came up, which came up from my gut, it's a big one. Rejection's a huge one. So I picked it up and moved the emotion through my GI tract out of my mouth because I couldn't do enemas or anything because I'm dry fasting. So I picked it up and I moved it and I took it out of my mouth and then I put it in. I always put things in a bubble for some reason. I don't know why, but it works. It seems to enclose that particular entity into a bubble. Anyway, I looked at the rejection and I said, well, what's going on here? I know that I'm feeling this emotion and it's okay and I'm ready to explore rejection. Anyway, so it went all the way back, then it just went back to God. And God said that you've been rejecting me for so long, and you've been rejecting my soul for so long that it's time for this to come up because you need to deal with the rejection, and it's got nothing to do with external stuff that makes you feel this rejection. It's all to do with you and me and the intimate relationship that we have with our Creator, our Source, our inner wisdom. So once that come up, I went, oh, okay. So it's because I've been rejecting you and not having that relationship with you, the Source. And he goes, well, that's it, because if you're not having that relationship with me, then it's going to appear everywhere external in your life. So that was so powerful, like so much come out of that. Like there's other stuff that come out of it, like emotional stability and all those things that we deal with. For example, we have energy fields that are all around us, and I know we know this, right? It comes at us continually, but we never have to be, we can choose in a moment if we want to be attached to that energy field or we can be detached from it. So once we choose detachment, which is your less is more, Gino, it's so powerful, the art of subtraction. Once we choose that, then we do not have to engage with that energy field, because the thing is, like what you said previously before, we live in this world and we don't live 100% in the jungle. And so we live in this world and we have to find a way in order how, for me anyway, personally, and how we engage, having that source, having that attachment to soul, and having that human experience, and still living here in a social entity with everyone else around us and what's going on that we may not like. So the energy fields they'll keep coming at you until you, and the quickest way, Gino, I'm sorry to say this to everyone, quickest way is just through the soul. It has to be through the soul. If you go into the mind, I find, to try and analyze it too much, you're going to get, you get entrapped. Hey, this is my experience. You get entrapped with the mind. And then not only does the rejection emotion come up, so do the other emotions, because what does rejection bring up? It also brings up anger, right, which is what Steve had, right? Yep. So, and anger's quite a powerful emotion because it actually gives you empowerment. Yes. Rather than having sadness, you know that Power versus Force book, I read that years and years ago. It talks about the different levels of emotions, and anger is actually a really, really good emotion to have because you have empowerment. And the fact that when you're in anger, and what Steve did, how he went back to his boss and he apologised for his emotion and his behaviour, that's a way where he's actually had empowerment. But when you're sad and depressed or feeling really low and getting into the suicidal type of thoughts, you've got no empowerment there. You're in a deep hole. But even if those come up, you need to look at it and, as you say, look at the mirror. So that's what I did with rejection. And then it took the source taught me about bit more about emotional stability, because we never own these emotions. They always come from external. They're not ours. But once you recognise that, I felt once I've realised that through fasting, is that you can actually pick up that emotion from your body and then have a look at it if you want to have a look at it, and but try and go back to, I think Inga said it, got to try and go back to the earliest memory of that emotion. But I actually am finding, Gina, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that all emotions are equal. Like anything that you feel, if it's happy or if it's unhappy or if it's this and that, they're all actually equal. The only thing you've got to try and do, even happy emotions and joyful emotions, you've got to allow it to pass through, because it's just in that moment that you feel these, even these highs that you have. Like I have so many highs. I'm always on a damn high when you're fasting, especially dry fasting. But these things come up, and I'm just so I just really am so grateful for it. And the other thing you guys all alluded to was like all these things that are happening in the world that we personally don't have control over to change it, but we do have an ability through fasting and tapping our energy field through nature. Like when I go for my walk, now that I'm in a realised state where I'm actually engaging with the plants, that we are working together for the goodness of the planet. And then I'd rather focus on that, on what I can have the ability to do with soul, because don't forget, the soul and source is unlimitless. I mean, it's limitless, like there is no limit to it. It's completely boundless. So whatever these people are doing through the mind and controlling and enslaving the people, they think they have control, but they don't have control in my books. They're playing the game, and they've been playing these games for thousands and thousands of years. The only thing is that the human being, we need to be awakened, and the way that I feel that we can do it the fastest way is through fasting. And then when we tap into the fasting and we tap into the creation, then we have ability to actually change the planet in a way that we don't see it right now. And that's the only thing that I feel we can do. Instead of I don't talk about it. I know this 5G thing's coming out, and I know the vaccination stuff, it's awful. Like what people have to go through is terrible. What can we do unless we change laws? and how to change laws. That means you've got to play the system within the system. And how hard is that on a human being? That's just too hard. That means you've got to have people rising up. Then you've got to have a civil war, and then you've got to do all that sort of stuff. But we can't do this alone. So the only way we can, I feel that we can do it is through fasting, not for us anymore, actually fasting for the planet, and fasting, so we can tap in and just connect into that. And yes, and we have to deal through some shit. So we have to deal through, as you say, Gina, the physical stuff's easy, it is. Like once you get over hunger, it's easy. It's the emotional stuff. But when you get into that emotional stuff and you have this ability to rise above any emotion that comes up, and it's not about you anymore, because when we talk about emotions, we're talking about it from our perspective and how we see it and what's happened to us, and the external environment's done this to us, and we blame other people. And you talked about the word responsibility. We are responsible for every single thing. Every single thing that happens on this planet, we are responsible for. So if we want to be responsible for it, I feel for me, like I'm just so fired up when I drive fast and so much information comes through. It's just like, the thing that we can do, what I can do right now is fast and dump the shit and crap out of my body so that the light energy can go through. And I feel empowered. I feel so much more empowered than I've ever felt before in my life. Like, from a year ago to now, Gino, I'm just in a different whole scenario, whole new doorway. And that's the reason why I fast now and why I drive fast more so, because the drive fast is so powerful, Gino. It's such a magnetic pull that, you just attached to source, 24/7, and I haven't slept much, so I'm on a bit of a high. But that's what I wanted to say. Did that come through okay?
Yeah, we hear clearly, yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Did it make sense?
Everything makes sense, but are people willing to do whatever it takes, no matter what, no matter how long it takes? That's the question where most will not say yes to. Even if they say yes, they will not do it. That's what we've seen over and over and over. The last 3 decades, I've seen this. Like I mentioned earlier, if you heard me, I was at some an uncle and aunt's house, and the aunt's going, why are you doing all this fasting? 3 decades. 3 decades. I love fasting. Yeah. I love fasting. What don't you understand? I love fasting. It makes me feel amazing. But you're going to die anyway. But all these things. And they're in that poor menstruation. And actually, she wasn't feeling good. She was in the 60s. How do you deal with this over and over and over and over again and not be drawn into that? How do you do it? I love fasting. I love what fasting makes me feel like. I don't like being pain, misery, and suffering. I didn't like when I was in bed those 2 years, and it took me many, many years to get into a physical, strong state again. I didn't like that. I did not like it. And when I see people in these states, I'm going, my goodness gracious. They all have the power in their own hand to change it. Because I know. I've done it. I've been there. The only reason I'm alive today is because of a fasting lifestyle. Fasting has saved me many times. So that everybody can believe whatever they want. Doesn't matter to me. It doesn't change anything for me. You have your choice to live in pain, misery, or suffering, or in total bliss 24 hours a day if you want. It's your choice. It's your choice. We're telling you and sharing our experiences. That's all. We can't share anything else. That's all marketing crap and bull crap out there. We're just sharing our experiences. And listen to the stories of people and why they fall off. And so it's all emotion. And they get dragged down into those lower realms, that lower field strength, and poor me syndrome. And we can have compassion. We can all have all the compassion. The whole planet can have compassion for that one person. It's not going to change it until they make that change in their mind and get out of the mind and connect to soul. And how do we do that? Simply, I found fasting is the most simplest way to connect. That's what I found. And many people have agreed that have done the experiences. They've agreed. So we'll continue to do this. And and thrive and love it, and keep inspiring to support each other. As long as I'm around, I'm going to do the best I can to keep going, because there was nothing else I found out there that did this, or even came to the understanding of from what I understood. I just saw different things in a whole different way, because I've done so much of it and I've experienced so much of it. And the ones that talk about it through learning it from textbooks or whatever, they just don't get it. They don't get it. Not from my experience. They just don't get it. And there's a lot of them out there. A lot. A lot of them came through our pages and took Masterfast information and bastardized it out there because they don't have the understanding. It's like, you want to learn from somebody who's, somebody that's learned something from somebody else that's not experienced it. It's like going to marriage counselors who've never been married, or children's counselors never have been married. It's like, come on, man. Really? Oh, you're gonna fix my problem? You have no experience? Thank you very much. See you later. You gotta go to a mechanic to fix a severe problem that's just came out of school, out of theory, and never touched the car before. Okay, if there's not a master behind them to see what he's doing, you're gonna trust that? Okay, sure, go ahead. Yeah. We respect everything and everybody, but if you're gonna follow anything, number one, it would be best to look for somebody who's had the experiences in anything, in any field, and many of them. And you can see clearly who's had the experience and who hasn't had the experiences. I've come across a lot of, what do you call them, alternative healthcare practitioners, and throwing questions at some of these people, and they have no clue what's going on. Because the experience is not there, right? So I'm not saying I have all the answers and everything. Like I said, I can only talk through the experiences. And when I don't have the experience in something, I can only access the experiences of others and have some kind of conclusion to it, but I don't have the hard facts to back it up because I don't have the experience. And I'll just say, I can't help you in that scenario. I don't know. But when there's something similar to the experience I have, there's the feeling that, oh yeah, that's what I felt and when I did this and that, and that's what's happening. You can clearly see it. The more you fast, the more you can see, because the belief system is there, right?
That's true. Yeah.
But as far as you were
talking
about
true.
All the emotions are equal, and what's you mean equal?
Well, I just kind of think I don't let anything get stuck on me anymore, Gino. Any emotion or anything that comes up, I just got this practice now of letting go of everything that comes through and let it flow through in its time and presence and moment. There's some things I attach to emotion to have, because the soul says you need to look at this. You know how you say you've got to look at the mirror. So if I feel an emotion of, okay, so I went to, for example, I had my niece's 20th birthday party on last weekend. Okay, there was food there, by the way, and I just I just focused on what made me the most happiest, which was my being with my nephew and niece. I was so elated in that motion. That motion felt so good that I wanted to attach myself in that love motion so much more than listening to other people telling me, oh, you've lost weight or this and that, or what are you doing? Because people start asking you questions about what you do. I don't tell them about I fast anymore. I don't say anything whatsoever. I just say, oh, no, I'm just really enjoying life. That's what I say. Anyway, but I attach myself to what makes me feel good first. And but I stay in it as long as I can in that moment. But once I leave that emotion, I let it pass through. So I don't even feeling those emotions with my nephew and niece. So what I do, because it's a nice emotion, a love emotion, I feel it and then I also let it go, because so I can let other things flow through me, because I believe there's different types of love. You know, it's not just one love. There's love for your husband. There's love for, you know, this group that I have. There's love, you know, for my nephews and nieces. There's love for my family. There's love for my friends. So they're different types of emotion. And I can only find that in my body, it's very difficult to hold. You can hold two emotions at once, but it can be a bit confusing. So I choose to try and hold the highest emotion I can in my body at one time. But I know that emotion is just as equal to the same emotion as rejection, because the rejection and the dark emotions is just as equally important for the learning and teaching, and to look in the mirror and to go deeper, just as much as the high emotions are. Because in this human form, I find that we still live in duality, and it's very difficult to get away 100% from, you know, duality. So I feel that you need the one and the other sometimes in order to recognise and realise what's actually really important. And what I'm finding is that everything is equal. So, you know, like everything has its balance, and everything, you know, does have that equality, like the yin and the yang. So it's just knowing to let when you're connected to the cosmic fields and things like this, for me, I find that it doesn't matter what emotion that comes through, I attach myself obviously to the feel-good ones the most, because that has the highest expansion. But I also know that I can't always be in it 100% of the time, and I need to allow that to flow through. And then when the ugly ones come through, which I actually don't call them ugly, they're good, they're my teachings. When they come through, is that it's okay. And because we're in Easter, and I mean, I love Jesus, was, you know, because he's taught me so much. I mean, he lived with the people, and he lived in this duality as well. And he allowed the emotions of anger to come up, you know. He allowed those rejection emotions to come up, because we're human. And these things are just normal. But it's just knowing how you rise above the mind and go into the presence in order to deal with those emotions in a very effective way. If you're dealing it through with the mind, and even the good emotions, right, through the mind, you're not really seeing its real true purpose and its real true essence, not just for you, but on the planet realm, and how we can help and have that compassion for humans and things like that. That's how I kind of see how it's equal, Gino,
Mm-hmm.
like it is all one, rather than, you know.
So but what I'm as far as each emotion, they'll all have like a different field strength, which plasma love from creation itself is the highest, the most balancing of them all, which is the strongest field, which keeps feeding and creating continuously, right? And that's what we're all being fed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I was asking why you feel there.
Oh, okay.
I understand what you're saying now, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, was it Josephine that put a message up saying she wanted a kick in the butt? I can do that for her if she wants it. All I'm going to say, Joe, you're such a beautiful soul. I know I've seen you around in the group and that. But what I was going to say is, like, it's so great, so wonderful to have you here. That's one kick in the butt. Like, honestly, to be here on this call and connect, because what happens, I found, and other people found, is that we actually connect on fields. So when you tap into, you know, source and that, I found that with Rana and Gino, because they've helped thousands of people, and, you know, they've been fasting, and Gino's been fasting for decades, as you can tell. You, through the screen, and I can even feel it now, I actually get his imprints and Rana's imprints. I actually get their downloads. So I didn't know that until after the 109 days, that what they were downloading on me was more than I could get from the Facebook page. Like, it was a lot faster for me. So I could get from the Facebook page and just, trying to focus on this lifestyle, that I found this place coming here every week was more powerful, than anything. Sometimes you don't have to say anything and it just all flows through. That's one kick in the butt, is being here every week, even if you're just listening. Second kick in the butt is that you need to go through the protocols, which you've probably done, and go watch the other interviews. If you probably have done this, but when you go listen to other stories, it allows you feel their emotion. So you feel what they've gone through. It allows you to prepare and plan, and it allows you to have that focus. So what you're doing is you're detaching from other things in your life that are not serving you at the moment, which is not your highest priority. And you take this as 100% focus. And it's the only way. For me, I'm just a normal person. I'm not a type of person that can just go ahead and do this on my own. There's just no way I recognise that within myself. I'm a type of personality that I have, that I'm aware of, is I actually have to dive in. So I literally have to get boots, scoots and all. I wanted this lifestyle so much. I was so ready for it that I really wanted it. So I literally dove in, and I was actually quite ignorant too, because I actually thought everybody did it, as Gino says, but only the few really do this. And when you focus, and also write down your intention, because when you write down the intention and you look at it every morning, which is what I do, and meditate on my intention, then that intention has to have its experience. It's an expected experience, and you've got to be in that intention while you're walking through life. Every minute, if you're cooking for other people, if you're having those cravings, if those things are coming up and you have a resistance that you need to break through, so that helps. So being here, listening to the stories, attach yourself to maybe a couple of people that you resonate with and follow them a little bit. That's what I did. I followed a couple of people to see how their journey was and to see if what other people's experiences are similar, and you'll see this common thread that everyone has when they do a long MFS. And even though it's a unique experience, but there is a common thread, and just fully believe, create this belief that this lifestyle is possible, the paradigm shift is possible, having a food-free day as much as possible, and believing everything that Gina and Rana have created is actually 100% correct. Because there's some things when you go on the journey, you go, oh, I can do it this way, or I can do it that way. No, stick to the system, because they've refined it as they've gone along. And you can see where, if you listen to the YouTube channel, the stories, you can see where they've refined it. And it's strategic in some ways in doing it, but it has allowed me personally to have the most fulfilled experience through fasting. So that's kicking. And don't listen to anyone, and don't tell anyone that you're fasting. Just don't tell anyone, even if you think that person's going to support you. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you think they are, but they might just be wanting to support you because they think, oh, you're doing some crazy stuff, and they think they're helping you, but they're not. So don't tell anyone, and just stick with this group and just get on the group every single day. You just got to be tough on yourself. You've got to be really, really. No one can do it for you. I think Gina says this all the time. No one can do it for you. You can only do it yourself. You're the one that has to get up in the morning, and you're the one that has to face the day every day. But I know Gina and Rana and the group and many of the fasters here will always support you if you're willing to receive that.
Yeah, as Joyce said, wow, Mira needed to hear that. Thank you, Josephine. I watched the interviews. I do need to make steps to manifest what I want. Thanks for your advice. Awesome. When you're ready, it won't happen before you're ready. When you're ready, it'll happen. And sadly, some people wait till it's almost too late. It's almost too late, and they have to do so much more, put in so much more effort and work to clean up and find balance again. And we see that over and over and over again. And most people are looking for the event to completely fix their challenges, and we've never ever taught that. It's a lifestyle right from the start. Like I said, I understood that when I read Anna Laird's book. Fasting is my new lifestyle. That's it. I understood it. And it's funny that I've been this over 3.5 years now, and that we've been saying it over and over and over. And the few of the few actually understood it's a lifestyle. Even a lot of them that did 108 days. Isn't that amazing? we only see what we want to see, right? And
Yeah.
We have a saying in AA, we should pray for slow recovery.
exactly right.
That's
Yeah.
right, it's true.
Yeah.
Anything that comes easy, you don't have any value on.
Yep. So it takes effort, it takes work, there's going to be resistance, it's going to be challenging, but the rewards,
Already.
you know, and sometimes the rewards scare people. It can't be this good. Their subconscious monkey mind's going, you got to start eating. You got to go back to that misery and pain and suffering. And that's what they do. You know, a lot of people do that, and it's okay. That's their choice and their experience and free will and so on and so forth. But we love and bless everybody. But when you've tasted the nectar of God, my goodness gracious, the nectar of God, it's I don't know if I would use the word addictive. There's not a word to explain what it is. Addictive is matter state kind of things. When you taste the nectar of God, it's a whole different state that you enter. I think Ranjit, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Yeah.
Where to express.
I don't know how to express it either. It's a feeling state, and
Truth.
it's just it's like you go back to, you just remember nearly when you're born, before you were born. It's a space. That's why fasting's so powerful, Gina. I just wish, like when you have the space in your body, in between all the cells and the atoms, you feel all that space, and you feel the plumpness, and they're dancing around inside you, all your cells, and then the nectar of God is just in there. It's in your mouth. I
can't remember who said this, maybe Mozart or something. It's not the notes that make the music, it's the silence between the notes that make the music.
Music, yeah.
So it's the same thing, this empty space. The no thing where you have access to all things. Creation itself, you're directly connected. And you can feel it, it's clear.
Yeah.
This is where all these miraculous things, what we call miraculous on this planet, inventions and so on and so forth, come through. That's where people are accessing it. And it's amazing. Hannah, it's been challenging 2 weeks for me. Yeah, you go through the phases.
Yeah, it's been, I worked a lot, and I also worked 3 extra days. So I've been pretty much working almost 2 weeks. And the first week was okay, but I was, I'm doing my master fast and everything. Last week, probably halfway through, well, actually, I take it back. Last weekend, I've noticed a little bit of a kind of sore throat, but
Wonderful.
not really, not even a severe. It's like very mild, and then it would come and go and come and go. And it's so interesting because I want to say about almost 30 years to the date, 30 years ago, I was in a hospital with a mononucleosis.
Okay.
And it was, I had a severe case, so I spent 3 weeks in a hospital. Normally people can just kind of, they don't have to be hospitalized, but my case was so severe. So I'm thinking, this is interesting. but then it kind of blew over. And Wednesday at work, started having a headache, but it's not like, I mean, I started actually like I'm starting to get sick, like an onset of some cold or flu, and it always starts the same way. I have this like right here in the throat, up here in my upper chest and where the throat, base of the throat, there is one spot, and it always feels like congested, like I have something, like I have congestion there, but I can't really, coughing doesn't relieve it or anything. And then I also just did not feel well, and my sinuses started getting congested, and just whatever comes with it, like a little bit of dizziness, but not dizziness passing out, it's just from all the congestion. And I am a chronic sinusitis sufferer. I've had bouts and bounds and bounds of sinusitis throughout my life since probably the age of 6. But once I eliminated dairy and then started to tweak my diet, I mean, once I eliminated dairy products, I've noticed a big change. Mm-hmm. But this was coming on again and again. I'm doing the master fast and all that, so there's no dairy. I think, okay, something's going on. So finally got home, and Thursday I was off work, but I had to go back to work on Friday. And so I was exhausted at that point because it was 10 days straight. And I'm laying in a bed, and it's just trying to fall asleep. And I feel this just terrible, this headache and this sinus pressure. And then my jaw starts, both of my jaws start hurting. I'm thinking, what is going on? And it's just getting stronger and stronger. And I used to, I know I grind my teeth, so I have to wear a night guard at night. And it was so uncomfortable. I'm like, I can't sleep with a night guard. I have to take it off. So I took it out, and it was just the pressure in the jaw was getting severe. And then heard a slight pop in my right jaw, and it immediately went away. And I think it even kind of helped with the headache, and I was finally able to fall asleep. And I woke up the next day, and I felt fine. But then when I went back to work, maybe 2 hours on Friday, maybe 2.5 hours into being at work, I started feeling the same crappy feeling, headache, then the congestion and all that. And, so I woke up with the headache still this morning. I did, oh my God, I did 6 enema bags. And I kind of felt a little nauseous, and I'm thinking, okay, I have 2 choices: either do dry fast or just go and eat the pudding. And I'm like, something was telling me, no, do the dry fast, because I really didn't feel like, I felt like I don't have any appetite. I don't want to eat. I don't want to get sick. And I should probably do dry fasting. I felt strong enough to do the dry fast. So I'm doing dry fast, but it's only unfortunately going to be a 24-hour dry fast, because I will have to break it tomorrow. I gotta go back back to work on Monday. And the dry fast that I did 2 weeks ago, I had to shut it at 48 hours, not because I couldn't keep going, but yeah, I mean, I won't lie, I was getting tired, but mainly because I had to go back on Monday. I'm like, I've never broken a dry fast. I cannot be under time constraints. I have to do it on my day off. So that's what I did. I broke it according to the protocol. I did fine. And I'm glad that I did it on my day off, because it took me a long time, because you have to drink the bubbly and the kidney tea. You have to sip it very slowly. and then you gotta wait, and you gotta do the enemas. I'm like, I can't do it unless I am off work. So my goal and of course last weekend I was at work, so I only have off every other weekend. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just do 24 hours or whatever, and then next week, in 2 weeks, I'm off for at least 4 days. So I'll aim for at least 24 hours. I would like to do more than that. I would like to do 3 days. So that's my aim. And I picked up my strength after the enemas and everything, and the nausea went away, the headache kind of went away, but now the headache is a slight headache. It's back. It's just hitting my forehead. It's not a sinus issue, but I feel okay. So I'm just battling through it. Cravings all the time. I do enjoy very much preparing healthy food for my husband. I really enjoy cooking. I normally don't like to cook, but now it's like, because I rarely cook, I don't make food for myself. So I really enjoy it. And I'm looking at pictures of foods. I love Mexican food, although we live here in Tennessee. I don't eat any Mexican food because we used to live in Southern California, so I got a taste of kind of, I guess you could say, authentic, but as close as it can come. And so I'm just looking at different pictures, but the cravings were so strong, and I'm like, well, this is fried. I can't have it because I have issues with my liver. So I mean, I've been off fried foods for years, and I mean, like you guys were saying, throughout the years, I've been through so much elimination, just making my diet very simple. And this way I was able to tell what I can and cannot tolerate. And just cooking very simple foods or eating raw fruits or vegetables. But unfortunately, my system is so plugged up that even with the fruits, I was still swelling up. And that's how I arrived at the conclusion, I have to do fasting. There is no other way. I have to uncongest so I can because it got to the point I couldn't even eat anything without having a reaction. But what has helped me throughout the years, really sticking to whatever, quote unquote diet or nutrition or plan or whatever I decided to stick with, is that, yes, I'm craving this, I'm craving that. I would always in my mind recall, and it's like, yeah, for a temporary pleasure, for maybe like 30 minutes or whatever, I'm going to be suffering for days. Is this worth it? And in my mind, it's not worth it. It's not worth the suffering because it's not. And I'm already, I don't think I'll be able to do 108 days because I'm going overseas to my home country. And I already looked up a grape juice or any juices, dark fruit juices. It's non-existent. So I might be able to get a small container of grape juice. I don't really even know if physically I will be able to. But I think I will be, by the time I will break the fast, probably 2 weeks or so before that. I will just eat fruit and maybe try some salads, but I can always get that. And, I can buy food, I can buy vegetables. I don't have to rely on anybody's cooking. And I'm just trying to focus, whenever my exit point is, before I come back, and then see, this is how I'm just starting planning. I'm starting to plan things now and see how it goes. So, before I used to be so anxious about flying. Oh my God, what am I going to eat? Because there's nothing to eat at the airport, or the food just sucks. And, now, unfortunately, because of the TSA, I can't even bring my juice because you can't bring any liquids. So, I can bring my food. Nobody is going to confiscate my food because I've flown with cut up fruit before, and they just want to see what it is because it looks strange on on x-rays, but they let me go through. I mean, so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Flying dry is the best. Anytime you travel, just travel dry.
yeah.
But you understand what's going on now. You're not sick.
No, I know. It's the healing or releasing the blockage or whatever. Also, my emotions, in last, I don't know, 3 weeks or 2 weeks is just very kind of impatient and just short with people. And I've noticed I can't keep my mouth shut. I mean, I'm kind of a blunt person, but I speak my mind more now than I did in past, because in the past sometimes I hold my lips closed, especially at work. Now, also, no one at work, my husband is the only person that knows about my dry fast, about my fast, master fast, and he's been very supportive. I've actually had he quit coffee after almost almost 50 years of drinking coffee and really being almost addicted, really being addicted to coffee. And I never thought that he could do it, but he's been coffee free, I think, for 30 days now. And, this time last year, I was, as far as alcohol, I was very, I would maybe drink like Riesling, 4 glasses of Riesling wine, because I can't really tolerate alcohol, in 4 days, on my days off. It was only when my husband and I would go out, it was a social thing. And then, when I had my liver test done and find out, okay, my Epstein-Barr is still reactivating. I mean, it's been probably reactivated for the 30 years. That's the mononucleosis virus. And my liver enzymes were kind of borderline, but a little bit elevated. I'm like, no, I have to quit. Even, compared to a lot of other people, I drank very little, but I'm like, my body can't handle alcohol. So about a year ago, I quit drinking alcohol, and I never drank because I like the feeling. I actually hate being buzzed. And that's why I can only stick with something that had relatively low alcohol content, because I hate the feeling. I don't get a good feeling from it. But I maybe found a 1 or 2. I like the taste, but sometimes I would feel crappy afterwards. Even and it was probably a combination with whatever food I was eating too. But I'm thinking, well, this is going to be very easy. But it was actually not as easy, because it was a social thing. I wasn't looking for any high. I'm like, okay, we going out, and this is weird. I'm not ordering wine. So then what really helped me is my husband, about 3 months after I quit, he decided, he's like, you know what? I don't need this in my life. I'm quitting too. So we both quit, which made it easier for me, because all of a sudden, his drink wasn't there and we didn't have any drinks. We maybe would order like a mocktail or something, or I'd just drink. I like carbonated water, so I would maybe have like Pellegrino or something, because I don't drink tap water when we go out, so that would be an option. And we've been dry, but I've noticed, and he noticed, that when he quit drinking alcohol, he ramped up his coffee drinking. So I'm just so proud of him, because I really didn't. I mean, he's made several attempts in the past to quit coffee, and he couldn't. And he's like, "You are my inspiration, because I see, how much willpower and how you live." And he quit cheese. Oh my God, it was the same addiction for him. I mean, it was like the hardest thing. So he's quitting all these things. And he's not doing a master fast, but it's just very, very gradual for him. But we really, we've always watched what we buy, what we eat, reading the labels. And like you guys said, maybe in the past, we don't keep junk food at home. we eliminated junk food or crappy food from our refrigerator, from our pantry. We only have quote unquote healthy food, but I mean, you know, no garbage. So that helps me because, well, I mean, my husband still likes some cookies, and I mean, this is stuff I would never touch, and you know, so I'm like, it doesn't bother me that it's there. That's his thing, and you know, if he's ever ready to give it up, it's fine. If not, I mean, he's doing amazingly, but he doesn't also have the same health challenges that I've had. I mean, I clearly know that my genetics is a lot weaker than his. So, you know, I mean, it's been 3 years. I couldn't handle the same foods that he can eat once in a while. And you know what? And I'm fine with it. It's okay. So, sorry. So that's what's been going on.
No, sorry.
Yeah. So you were mentioning that you have done 48-hour drive 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
You're aiming to do more than 24 hours this week?
No, I can only do 24 because I know you're supposed to do 24 weekly and you know, a monthly drive.
Yeah. So keep it like that. Keep it 24 hours a week.
Yes. Okay.
If you can, up to 72 hours a month.
Well, you know, I can only do every other week because of my work schedule.
Every other week, what?
I can only do dry fast every other week because of my. No, but I'm saying I can't do the weekly dries. Yeah. But and especially now we are so short at work. I mean, my boss has already asked me if I can work some extra days in May. I'm like, so okay, so I have no idea what my schedule will be.
So you cannot do 24 hours a week?
I haven't attempted that because right now, since I've been working so many hours, and I've just done, and my job is so demanding. Yeah, well, I just feel like I'm not gonna have any energy. Well, plus the thing is, I'm afraid that I need more time, that I cannot work on the day that I'm breaking the fast, because I really need more time than the 4 hours that I have in the morning.
It's not that hard. I mean, I only dry fast mainly when I'm working.
Okay.
It shouldn't be a problem to break your dry fast at work. It is absolutely not a problem.
Okay, and just break it on my day off.
You don't have to.
Well, I mean, I eventually have to break the.
You're gonna be tired if you're doing the monthly one, and you're gonna be tired. Then yes, break it.
Okay.
Your day off, because towards the end
you don't have to expect anything.
Towards the end, you're gonna be tired, right? So, but 24 hours. Get used to 24 hours at work. It should be easy. Shouldn't be hard. You don't have to do the enema immediately after you break your fast.
Right, and I didn't. I didn't, but I would have to have enough time, you know, to rehydrate, to drink slowly, and then have enough time to do the enema. Yeah. And
when you go home. Do the enema later when you go home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to tweak this out. Like I said, this working extra, it's really kind of thrown wrench into my plans. Because I mean, it's very tiring. It's very exhausting. Just even.
And working extra, in my opinion, is the reason you are feeling sick.
Yeah. Okay.
Because your body's already doing a lot of work, and you're working extra, so the body is weaker than usual. It's just too much.
Yes.
Stress. And just emotionally, you're gonna be more stressed out.
Yeah, and I'm doing errands and housework on a day that I have off, just so I can manage to catch up with everything that I didn't have time to do during my.
More stress than usual, and so the body will be weaker, and somehow it's going to show you symptoms where you are challenged in your body.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it's going to start detoxing deeper. Usually when we catch a cold or something, we start like just releasing, which is a good thing, but you don't want to stress the body too much when you
right.
So just do your best to take care of yourself somehow.
Okay.
I understand you have to work extra days, but somehow be gentle on yourself on these days.
Okay.
Because in my opinion, that's the reason you are feeling sicker than usual.
Okay.
And the dry, do your best. 24 hours is not hard. Start, you can do the enemas when you go home. When you go home, do you normally do them in the evening?
No, I do them in the morning because by the time I get home, I'm so exhausted. I just ready to. I don't get home until 10:45 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, and I leave for work at 12 noon.
Yeah.
So I have to do everything in the morning so I can have
So
a dry window.
This is what you can do. Break your dry in the evening.
Okay.
And then hydrate a little bit. I mean, not too late, hydrate a little bit, and then in the morning wash your colon. So it's like
Okay, so I can wait till the morning then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a few hours, like
Okay.
I would say up to 12 hours after you break it, no problem. No big deal, but yeah, you can do it. Shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, don't expect anything like you're going to be tired on your dry days. No, the busiest days are the best days to do your dry. Your busiest.
Okay. Okay.
I just want to add something that helped me. When I first started on the journey, I had a 10-month-old, 2 other kids, and I was in so much pain I could barely put one foot in front of the other. I like to say that my boss didn't go home. My baby needed me all through the night. It was really hard. And I could barely even think straight. And I was just like you, trying to plan out exactly when I was going to do certain things. And I just couldn't figure it out. And then I think it might have been Gino. Somebody said, don't overthink it. And I just said, all right, that's it. I'm done. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Everything is here. And that's what honestly got me through those first few months. I just kept saying, because my tendency tended to be just like what you're saying too. The planning, and then it not working out exactly. So that's one thing. And then my other piece of advice that I use right now too, as far as enemas goes, getting those done, is I have everything ready to go. So even if it's late at night or if it's early in the morning and I'm tired, whatever the case is, I just have it all filled up. It's all ready to go. And that does help me get it done. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, we can focus
Yeah,
on.
it does, but I mean, it does take time for if I need to do 3 bags, and I mean, I do have to tweak the temperature of the water because I want to have it a little bit at body temperature.
Yeah. Remember we mentioned last time, Colima, if you can afford it.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna save you so much time, in my opinion, and it's
better,
even more effective.
Yeah, more effective.
So,
but then I have to drill a hole into my wall to place the Colima reservoir.
The bucket.
Because I mean, I just looked at the video or the website and I'm like, well,
no, you don't need to do that. You can. I don't know. Depends on what bathroom you have. You can either put. What we did, we just put another pail, an empty pail with some water in it for weight, and we put it on top of the pail, right on top of the bathroom. If you have a different type of bathroom,
the
toilet. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you have a different type of toilet, you can also mock up a thing out of wood. Very simple, like a little shelf thing that you put it. You need it about a good 2 to 3 feet higher than your body from the bottom of the pail. And that's it. You don't need to put it in the wall. You don't need to hang it.
Another thing you mentioned, so think about the Colima. Another thing you mentioned about having extreme cravings, I think, when you're watching foods, right?
Yeah. Or looking at pictures. Yeah.
I suggest not to watch.
Not when I'm cooking, but just some I guess maybe I had some downtime at work and
yeah. I hear you. I spend so much time watching food while fasting as well, different fasts, especially towards the end when I started anticipating breaking the fast and thinking about what food I want to prepare. And I got extreme cravings as well. So I do not suggest videos or photos about food. If you want, okay, but don't get obsessed with them because I got obsessed. Like it was always occupying my head, and then the cravings come, and it's really not comfortable to have cravings. You know, it's if I'm hungry, I want to eat. If I have cravings, I want to eat. Otherwise, you know, I like the fast because there are minimal cravings. But I noticed once or a couple of times when I watched food, I was tempted to try whatever I was making. If I was pickling, and then I find myself, slowly chewing and then maybe swallowing, and then I break the fast. Or find myself buying food that is similar to what I watched.
Yeah.
It's healthier version, but like it's just.
Now, I don't have that issue when I'm making salad or soup for my husband, or even cut up fruit and stuff, even though that would be the food that I'm going to end up eating. But I don't know, for some reason, it's just like,
Yeah.
it probably wasn't the best. And I wasn't even feeling well at that point either. So it was kind of a moment of weakness, but like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, when you work with food, it's I don't get the cravings as much, but when I watch videos and photos, it's stronger.
Yeah.
It occupies the head.
I've never had a. I've watched tons and tons and tons of cooking show, and I used to long fast.
Yeah, but the majority of
You
people
start
do.
learn to tap into the emotion of it, and it settles it out. If you don't do that, and you just start, relishing and craving and blah blah, it's a different story. So you just have to switch your thinking, just like everything else. If you're going to be exposed to being around people that are eating and so on and so on, learn to tap into the emotion of it, because it's not going to go away. This is the lives we live. We're around food all the time.
I was around many people eating. I was even making food for people, inviting them while fasting, and that was easy. But watching the videos and photos, well, it played with my head more than the
if you allow it,
being with people. Yeah, it's I don't feel it's healthy. When you're eating, it's okay, I guess. You can learn something. Even when you're eating, watching these videos, it can really play with you.
Yeah.
You're doing great, Hannah. Just jump for joy when these healing reactions come forth. These little kind of symptoms you're feeling. These are all things that are the body's has stored for many, many years, and they're coming to the surface to be balanced out and healed.
Right.
Will it all happen in this fast? No, you just barely begun. The door's open in 108 days, as we say.
And I'm sorry, one more thing. I'm having really hard time finding clothing. A really hard time finding pants. The tops I've always been kind of skinny up on top. I have a kind of had a lot of not a lot, but I tend to carry my weight to the buttocks and thighs. So now I don't have a butt. I mean, I've lost so far 25 pounds. I'm down to 105 pounds. Now I'm 5'9". So what I found is I just went to some store. There is a store, like certain stores don't carry smaller size than size 4, not smaller size than size 2, and even the store that carries size 0 is big on me. And because I'm a regular height at 5'9", if I can't buy petite because I can't wear petite size. So now I'm literally running out of options. I don't have clothing to wear, and I'm thinking, oh my God. So now this is like, how much more weight am I going to lose before I, it's I know you say don't worry about it, but I'm like, I'm traveling overseas. I need some clothes. I don't have any clothes to wear.
Once you start
So
eating,
it's really frustrating.
Once you start eating, it will come back. Yeah. You might not want it.
Everybody's got a different journey. Some, like I said, few people go skin and bones. They go literally skin and bones, and it's not everybody that happens to, and it depends on the lifestyle you've had, the diet, the emotions, the genetics. There's so much involved. nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Your experience. You just have to embrace it all and take it one day at a time. Give yourself plenty of time to break the fast properly, and just embrace it all. Just wear some long, loose dresses. That'll work.
Yeah, I'm wearing a lot of layers because I'm cold and it's freezing at work. But I mean, obviously, I'm more cold sensitive now, and it's been kind of cool outside. But tomorrow we're gonna move into the high 70s, and that's gonna be outside. Of course, I work inside. It's gonna be interesting. Like, okay, because I still have to dress for the inside, but people are starting to look at me like, what's going on? And I'm like, well, I'm cold, I'm freezing, but they are kind of used to me always say that, but I won't be able to get away with wearing turtlenecks when it's 78 outside or 80. So that's, but whatever.
Did you stop your medication, you said last time?
I'm sorry?
Did you stop your thyroid medication, you said last time?
Yes. I stopped so I know it's part of it is that, yes.
So you stopped when you started?
Yeah, I wean myself off. Yes, I mean, I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking any meds.
Yeah, so then it's fine.
Hannah, can you I don't know, can you go into the children's section, see if you can purchase anything from there? And then the only other thing, if I'm not in your situation, I'm not that low, but if I did, I'd go look at Asian clothes like online, like either from Japan or those Asian countries. I know you're tall, but their clothes are really, really quite small. I know Indian clothes from India are so much more smaller than Australian clothes or Western clothes.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to buy online. Or the other option that you've got is, which is a little bit more expensive, is to get things tailor-made. If you're going away, you might need to get a couple of pieces, tailor-made sort of thing.
But see, then I mean, what if I have them taken up now? Once I go back on the eating, then they may be too small. So this is what I'm facing right now.
Try secondhand stores. Try secondhand stores to get some stuff that's cheap. But really, don't put too much into this. I think you're putting a lot into this. Your energy needs to go elsewhere. And people live with very little, and it's a good time for less is more, actually. So that's what I did. And I was also in the same clothing situation and even worse things that you can't imagine, actually. So just try to only give it the attention it deserves, and focus your energy where it really should go.
And also, how long are you gonna be here before after you break your fast before flying?
Well, I was thinking 2 weeks.
You're gonna be here, so you're gonna break it for 2 weeks?
How many days would that be fasting?
No. I'm sorry. I meant to break the fast for
2 weeks.
2 weeks before I leave.
That was my question. Yeah.
Because okay.
It will help you put on the weight. The longer you eat, the more you will gain weight.
Right.
Yeah.
But then even if I eat just fruits mainly and maybe occasional salad, because I know you guys were talking about it, it's like even when you break the fast and your body still continues to heal. So I would think it basically might mean I'm still might be losing weight. That's a little bit.
People start losing more weight after they break the fast. Yeah.
Everybody's different, but the majority of us start gaining weight. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You have lots of clothes. Seriously, you have lots of clothes. Don't buy anything. If you want, make some of them smaller or something. But
you're going somewhere where they have fresh fruit available?
Yes. We have supermarkets. It's my home country. It's just it's It's the Eastern Europe, and it's basically meat and potatoes. There is no really vegan places or anything, but we do have supermarkets, and I was impressed. I'm like, oh wow, they actually had mangoes. They, you know, they carry more selections of fruits than I've ever seen before. So I was, you know, I can buy grapes. I can buy, I guess, bananas. I mean, it's now finally getting westernized after, you know, 25 years of social, you know, being away from socialism. So yeah, but the restaurants, it's just unbelievable. Everything is greasy food. Everything is just just breads, pastries, meats.
You know what? I was just away for several days, and we've done this before, but we don't eat out one bit. We just find out where the supermarkets are, and we bring everything back with us. Or we, you know, it goes in the back of the car, and we have a cooler. We have containers to use. We carry a knife, spoons and forks, and towels as napkins. And we don't miss a beat, and we don't miss the restaurants. Literally, they're just bathroom stops. And we feel, I mean, it's so intuitive now for us. It's phenomenal. We use different, there's applications too. I mean, what I was thinking for you is that there's so many people overseas who have accounts on Instagram where they show if they're raw vegan, or fruitarian, where they buy their fruit. And it's, you know, it's like a whole big culture online, and you may want to tap into that a little bit before you go. That way you have some resources ready for where you may be.
Thank you. Yes, I haven't done that.
Going to restaurants and all that. Well, this one little meal won't do much, and then the next meal, and then the next meal, and the next meal, and you're going to be in trouble very quick.
Right. I know. I know.
So prepare. You know, 2 weeks breaking a fast. The fast takes 2 times at least the length of the fast to break.
Right? I know.
So be ready.
Thank you.
All right. Well, wow. Yeah, we're over 2 hours already. Time flies. Ranjit?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just listening to Hannah and just trying to figure out a way to how I can support her. It's an interesting journey, this, because the paradigm shifts are so massive. The changes are so massive, and you know, you have to let go of all those thoughts and things that come in, because you don't have to think about things anymore. Like I was just listening to you, Hannah, and I'm going, no, I remember when I was shrinking, and every time I went and bought something, 2 weeks later it didn't fit. Even underpants and all those sort of things. I was just sort of remembering that journey, you know, from the beginning, and it's just so fascinating. And then when you kind of get through that, you just live a bit like in this different world. Like, clothes don't really have, I mean, I know I'm not working. I know you work corporately and have a job, you know, all that sort of stuff, and you have to perform in that type of field. But clothes and things just have very little meaning compared to how they used to have them, you know, previously. Like I was just, Lisa saying how she doesn't go to restaurants, and I was just trying to think of the last time my husband and I went to a restaurant. It's been so long, just the whole letting go and art of subtraction, and no, I'm really grateful how, you know, just for these, you know, this new life that we have. It's just so much easier, Gino. As you know, it's such easier, and your mind is just let go of so many different things, and everything that you choose to do and how you live is very, very, very different to the way that you used to think. And it's such a it's really great listening to everyone's story, because you remember your changes, and you kind of go, oh yeah, I went through that, went through this, and all of a sudden you're just in a different place. It's just wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Hannah. That was so lovely.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, time to wrap her up. Thank you all so much, all, for joining and supporting, inspiring. This is what we're here for.
Yes.
To help each other get through the challenging times. And
Yes.
it's all make-believe that we make up in our minds. So when we start discussing and talking about it, we can see it really is all things we make up or we've been peer pressured into. So talking through it and supporting each other helps everybody get through it. Just like anything else, support is crucial. And more so I find in today's realm, today's societies than ever before, because so much is so out of whack there. So the two extremes, I either see this planet being set in the path of doomsday or enlightenment. There's no in between anymore. It's one or the other.
Yes.
So let's focus on enlightenment.
Yep. Focus on what, I agree with that.
Because if we focus on the other stuff there, we're going to be drawn into that, right? So thank you so much, everyone. And we'll see you back on the page. And Wednesday for Facebook Live, and next week on Zoom again. And let's keep that plasma.
Thank you. Love you, Rana. Never got to talk to you, Rana. Love you.
Thank you. Love you all. Thank you.
See you all. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.